everyone, and welcome to RAZZLEcast. I'm your host, Zachary Maurer, and as always, I am joined by my Razzle co-host, Alan Havens.
That's me.
And Ben Hagelin.
Hey.
And on today's special live episode of RAZZLEcast, we're doing a post-mortem for WandaVision. Just discussions on the entire series. Guys, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Doing well.
Wait, hold on. You said WandaVision? I thought we were doing a podcast on long division. I got a calculator. I was
No. Not the long division. No, well, it's WandaVision. You know that show everyone's talking about?
Nope, I thought it was long division.
Well, you know that show everyone was talking about, but now they're just going to move on to the next Marvel show?
Yeah. Long division never gets old. So
we've done a couple episodes of our WandaVision podcast, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That wasn't a question. I don't know why I phrased it as such.
It's true.
So we've done a couple episodes of these. This is going to be the finale discussion. So what we're going to do here is we're going to discuss first the finale, and then we're going to kind of discuss the series as a whole. So spoilers. I did not include that in the title for the video, like I said I was going to. So whatever.
Sorry
about that. Spoilers from here on out. So guys, let's kick it. I'm going to kick it to Alan first, right? But let me phrase this in a way that... that's less than like just give me a little more than just give me your thoughts, okay? Were you disappointed in the finale, Alan?
Disappointed? If I'm just giving a one-word answer, yes. In the finale.
Yes.
Not the show overall, but the finale, yes, disappointed.
Okay. Ben, same question, quick answer, then we'll hop into discussion.
I'm going to say I'm not disappointed per se, but it needs a lot of explaining. Like, there's a lot of, like, I can't really answer that in a one-word answer, and that's what the podcast is about.
Right, okay. Yeah, exactly. That is what the podcast is about. So... Was I disappointed?
I can elaborate.
Was I disappointed? Thanks for asking, guys. No worries. Yes, I was as well. So let's really hop into it. Alan, do your elaboration.
Sure. So I would not have been disappointed in this finale if we didn't have a ton of episodes beforehand that showed that this was something else. Because the first, I don't know, 8 episodes? I forget how long the show is. It was 9 episodes total, right?
Yeah.
8 or 9. 9, I think.
We'll go with,
9.
I think, so the first 8 episodes were like something really unique and something new and something different to the Marvel Universe. And it felt like something exciting, something with a lot of potential. And that's a lot of this show. And a lot of what that's probably going to be the word of the day is potential.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of stuff really working for it. Mm-hmm. And then the last episode is the third act of a Marvel movie, which is good, but it's not anything new. It's not the fun. It's not the new world that it looked like, the new territory that it looked like we were breaching. It's the same as what we got before. It's the villain who was really interesting before felt a lot less interesting in the finale. It became a big fight complete with Skybeam and fighting and throwing things at each other. There's certainly some interesting things in there. Mm-hmm. And there's some things that make it interesting, but every Marvel movie has their own interesting thing at the end. But it's a Marvel movie. By the final episode, it was exactly what I expected the show to be before ever watching the show. And that, I think, is why it was disappointing.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. I think this is the end. The finale of this show was the finale that I would have expected. It's not necessarily the finale I wanted, nor thought we would get halfway through. So I think for me... So everything you just said is accurate, right? Like, there was the big finale fight, which took up most of the episode. There was not great fight choreography and visual effects for magic. They don't know how to make magic interesting anymore, apparently. Or not their kind of magic, at least.
Yeah.
But there's a lot there that I did like. So I just think that... and we'll get into this. We're like, I think I built up my expectations to an unnecessary, an unrealistic level.
They did that to you though, and they did it on purpose, and we'll get into that, I'm sure,
fair.
later.
That is fair. I not my expectations actually, because I think the show is good enough to meet my expectations. What I mean is I fan theoried a bit too much, so which I think is inherently different than expectations. But anyway, to get to the point, was it disappointing? I was disappointed, but the show as a whole is not disappointing. So,
no.
Yeah.
I'm actually rewatching it because I liked it so much. But yeah, sorry, Ben. I know you. I don't know if you echo some of our thoughts, if you have different thoughts.
So yeah, I saw a tweet a couple days after the finale came out that kind of summed up my thoughts on the show in like a very quick like one sentence. And it said something like, WandaVision failed to deliver on things it never promised me. Because there were things that it kind of led me on to that I became willing to expect. And then
Magneto?
It turned out to just have... Yeah, I was all in on Magneto. If you guys watched the other two podcasts, I like I put my life down on Magneto showing up in WandaVision. But instead... they went completely in the opposite direction of where I thought it was going.
Right.
And like, so I feel like because it didn't do that doesn't mean that, like, I don't feel like it's fair for me to say that I was disappointed by the finale because it didn't give me the things that I thought it was going to give me. I was surprised in a not so good way. Is the best way to say that. I think I enjoyed the finale. I had a fun time watching it. But I didn't I just didn't like, there were things that I had wished that the show would do that it didn't do.
I think
and that's about where I stood on it.
I think to clarify my thoughts is that like I wasn't disappointed that I didn't get what I thought we would get. I was disappointed in what we did get, which I think is, you know, two different tokens. Like I can be disappointed that some of my theory crafting and, you know, our 2 episodes or 3 episodes of the podcast where we dive into all these theories and stuff, I can be a little disappointed that those didn't pan out. But I'm more just disappointed that like what we got was rather generic battle between Wanda and Agatha. Granted, I like that Wanda. I like that both of the villains in this episode were kind of outsmarted. They weren't really brute forced.
That was cool.
I think is great. Like, I love the battle between Vision and White Vision. I think the Ship of Theseus stuff is really great. I love that.
Yeah.
Actually,
yes, especially because we were getting what we usually get, which is, oh, it's a bad version of the same character with the same powers.
It's a little bit of a subversion.
They did a little bit to make it different. But I do have something to add, but I don't want to take over because I know you were in the middle of a thing.
Yeah. No, I get exactly what you're saying. To me, I was just very pleased with the way that the bads were concluded. I didn't necessarily like how long the fight lasted because it was basically the whole episode. But I did like that they weren't both just brute forced, you know? Like, I like that Wanda did have to learn a little bit, especially even from the villain. And I like that Vision's discussion with White Vision ended up, you know, to leading towards White Vision going away, which there's a lot to unpack actually in that conversation, and I'm sure we'll get to it. So the Ship of Theseus conversation, that is.
Yeah. So the one thing I do want to say, because both of you guys kind of hinted on the idea, and you're not 100%, you're not wrong, but the show didn't straight up outright say, hey, you know, you shouldn't be, like, they didn't say, oh, we're giving you Magneto, we're giving you X-Men, we're giving you those things and stuff like that. But let's not pretend that the show didn't want you to do that theory crafting, because the show was literally all they did was set up, and it was red herrings. It was purposeful, Emma Caulfield even came out and said, like, you know, she doesn't blame people for being disappointed with her character having nothing going on, but she said that the show did it on purpose, that they said they knew people would be interested in her because they'd recognize her from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They'd recognize that she, and they purposely put her in that spot, gave her an important thing, and then had her leave because they thought people would stick around and start theory crafting about her. You're right.
It was done on purpose. You're right. Yeah.
There's a lot of things like that where they wanted to do that. And I think that to some degree, that's good. You need red herrings, especially when you have something like Agatha Harkness that everyone was going to pull out of and know.
Right. Especially when you have something like Agatha Harkness and 60 years of comic book hit knowledge, you know, like, so people are going to do this anyway. Sorry, continue.
Yeah.
So that still brings me to what I will say is my absolute least favorite part of the entire series. And I think we're all in the same boat, probably. I don't think they should have made Evan Peters a boner joke. I think he should have, like, I made a joke on one of these podcasts where I said, like, hey, they could just be doing the Mandarin thing. And they did. It's the Mandarin thing.
Yeah.
He's not, and not only that, it literally completely gets rid of any idea that they're not going to bring him back as Evan Peters Quicksilver. So the only thing it does is say, yeah, we're not touching the X-Men universe there. I think it actually makes it harder for us to believe that the X-Men universe will appear in Doctor Strange, which I had pretty much made an all but guarantee before.
I don't know.
That was my least favorite part. Was the fact that they said, hey, here's the thing.
I agree. I don't like that he was just like a boner joke, right, by the end or whatever. I do want to push back slightly. I feel like I think the existence of Wanda's kids talking through the multiverse or whatever they're talking through at the end kind of hints at the fact that I think they could bring an Evan Peters from the multiverse. I don't think they will. I just think they could. I'm not saying I don't think the boner, you know, the Ralph Boner joke or whatever it was, slams the door on it, you know?
They literally didn't have to give us his name. They didn't have to give us anything. It could be like, oh, you know, that's, yeah, from this universe, there's another person who looks like him. But I think, to me, I thought it was dumb. I thought I don't think it was particularly funny to begin with.
I don't think it was particularly funny. I don't think I needed to know who Ralph was either. Like that wasn't needed to me, you know?
Yeah. Like it was such an unneeded thing. And I think, to me, it was more of a jab at fans, which was supposed to be in jest, not a we are mad at you, but a jab at fans for like, that'll get you for looking into stuff. And I don't think that sat as well with me, because I was like, you know, this whole show I got super excited about, like, oh, where are we gonna go? What's gonna happen? We got Doctor Strange, we have the multiverse. And again, like I said, when I said I didn't think that I thought it was gonna be the Quicksilver from that universe, I said that because I was like, I don't think they're gonna do it again to us. We have a multiverse movie coming up. They're not gonna trick us and pretend that it's someone else again. And then they did. So I think that was the most frustrating thing for me.
Yeah.
I had already heard that some people were disappointed by the time that I watched the finale. Particularly Ryan had said he was disappointed, and I believe, Zach, you had said you were disappointed. So I think I probably already expected that going in. But that was probably the biggest thing for me, where I was like, oh, so they just kind of shut the door on anything interesting with Evan Peters to me.
Yeah, I do. I think they can still pull something out if they wanted to, because I think the multiverse just opens everything up to like whatever. I think
certainly
it could just be a way of like them saying a person who looks like Evan Peters can be a Quicksilver. But let me clarify, I don't think that's what they're doing. I think they are saying that that's not going to happen, but I don't think it necessarily has to be, you know, a closing of the door. So let's sort of move away. Unless, Ben, do you have anything to add about Evan Peters?
I had one little thing. Basically, we did see, like throughout the show, and they emphasized it in the finale, that characters did have, like, there is an existence of a hex name and then a real name. So it's possible that Ralph Boner, that
okay,
it's possible that that's not even like, that's just the name that it would be Agatha who gave him that name when she pulled him into the hex, but it's still possible that that's like actually like they could do a double red herring in Multiverse of Madness, just be like that like he shows up and it's him.
You know
I
what?
don't
and I
know
could
that
see
that's
Evan
definitely
Peters,
happening.
Quicksilver also like being like, oh, I'm some guy named Boner here, and do something with that. I don't know. I don't think it was particularly funny to begin with, so I would be like,
wasn't.
oh, we're really doubling down on the Boner joke. Like, okay.
I think that
Yeah.
that's an interesting thought because he was still hexed at that point. So you're right.
But I think that they got his information from like the internet. If I remember correctly.
He was holding his own. It was I watched a video. It was an actor. It was a headshot. It was an acting headshot.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe.
So he was like a wannabe actor. In the hex at least.
I mean, hey, listen,
that's
anything's
what he
possible.
was.
I will agree with you, Alan. I lean towards, probably not. You know, they're probably not going to do that, but a little sad. So let's move on. I guess we could keep talking about the finale. So before we talk about like the last couple of scenes, which I think really
is the most important.
The most, that those last scenes, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
actually,
absolutely.
For me, fucking nailed it, and solidified the fact that the show was great, and everything. But I want to get to really I'd like to talk more about Agatha. I'd like to talk about Agatha and Wanda's fight, and I'd like to talk about the visions, and stuff like that. Also, I'd like to talk about how the crowd interacted with Wanda and how the town felt about Wanda as a whole. So let's talk about let's start with Agatha and Wanda. So guys, a little disappointed in Agatha in this finale.
Yeah, she became suddenly super one-dimensional.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frustratingly one-dimensional. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to believe that it was only because, the reveal had happened, so that's why. But then I remembered there was a whole episode before that where she was super menacing and super interesting, and we had already learned officially who she was.
Right.
So she was interesting, and then she was
doing
evil.
In episode 8, she was doing some of that like mentor stuff. Like she really felt like what Agatha was in the comics. I feel like she like was definitely like she was doing things to Wanda. She was for her own gain trying to get things out of Wanda, but she was also like almost grief counseling her through that whole like memory trip down memory lane or whatever.
Which we never talked about that episode, but like
that
was a really good episode.
Honestly, the fucking scene where like the Wanda and Pietro's family is just like watching television and then the bomb comes and shit, like that's one of the most heart-wrenching like intense
I don't know how I didn't
scenes
see
in the
it
Marvel
coming.
universe.
Yeah,
I didn't see it coming either. I was like, oh shit.
I don't know how, because it's like we knew we knew what happened to them.
Yeah, I don't know, that was gut-wrenching. That was really great. I think a lot of the interweaving of memories was really great. Really, I loved that episode a lot actually. But Ben, sorry, back to what you're saying. Yeah, to me, she lost a lot. Like, she became too mustache twirly. Like, I don't know. Like, and I don't think it wasn't Catherine Hahn because she was so good throughout the entire series. It was just the way that her character was written in that last episode was just so one-dimensional Marvel villain. It was kind of bothersome.
I'm happy they kept her alive though, because she was great throughout the series. So hopefully
I'm very glad she's kept alive, and I hope that some stuff happens.
I think it absolutely will.
I think more stuff will happen. I don't think there's a WandaVision 2. We can talk about that or a second series.
That's interesting to talk about. We'll talk about that in the second segment where we talk about the show as a whole.
Yeah.
That's an interesting topic, and I'm not really sure where I stand on it. So.
Yeah, I don't think I need another one. I want the storyline to continue. I just don't necessarily know if I want another mini series, kind of thing. So. But again, so to me, it's like where they subverted the Vision fighting a bad version of himself, They didn't necessarily subvert it with a witch fighting a bad version of a witch, you know?
No, it was pretty much the same.
Because they tried to do a subversion. They tried to make something new by making Wanda the one that, like, was doing the bad, you know? But, like,
Yeah.
not really, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there was some interesting stuff to be had, you know, as the episode tails off and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
for the most part, it was just kind of like, and it was cool, but I don't think that we haven't seen Marvel superheroes outsmarting villains before in that sort of way. Like Vision's thing was really cool because he's like one of the most powerful Marvel characters, and to have him literally fighting himself, but instead of just like, oh, I'm gonna punch him harder, he instead, like, you know,
he logics him. The
Ship
of Theseus thing is great.
That was actually,
I think it's so good.
One of the cooler things in the show, despite me not liking that episode.
Well, and it just provides you, like, they're doing it to the audience too, which I think is so great, because, like, the whole time I'm like, nah, fuck that guy. He's not the real Vision. Nah, fuck him. Like, yeah, that's our Vision. Fuck you. That's our Vision.
Yeah.
And then, like, no, they're neither of them are the original Vision, but they both are, and they're neither of them are, and I don't know. There's a lot to think about. The Ship of Theseus discussion was really great. I really liked that. I really liked it.
It reminded me of the scene at the end of Age of Ultron where Vision talks to Ultron.
Yeah,
and I think that's the best scene in that movie.
I think you're probably right.
I agree.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it's it's interesting. It's interesting. The finale as a whole, I just find to be a little bit disappointing. Not from a, I guess more from a, I was gonna say not from a theory crafting. It's more from a substance aspect. You know, like there's just too much of the final battle of a Marvel movie, too much of that final third act of a Marvel movie for me.
Agreed.
I just expected it to be a lot more. It's weird. Going into the show, I expected that, like Alan was saying.
Yeah.
But after watching the whole series, I would have been content as well. But after watching the whole series, I was like, okay, we're not going to have some giant action sequences. And I'm good with that.
Yeah.
You know? What else did we talk about in the finale? So...
I guess what happens.
Let's talk.
After,
we'll get to the end.
That's the big thing.
We'll get to the end. Let's talk first about our side characters. We haven't talked about Monica Rambeau. We haven't talked about the other two whose names are now escaping me.
Billy and Tommy.
Okay.
Darcy and
Wu. We haven't talked about Darcy and Wu. We can talk about Billy and Tommy at the end. Not at the end, but. Their role in
conjunction with that.
Yeah. So Monica Rambeau, Wu, Darcy. So Darcy just really not in this episode much.
No, she just shows up for like I'm gonna hit this person with a bus.
We're gonna get more Darcy in Phase 4, I think. I don't think that they just had her in this show for no reason and then made a big deal out of her going into the Hex. You know, I think we're gonna get more of her in Phase 4. I think we'll get more of Wu in Phase 4. I would not be surprised if we get like a Wu show.
I love Wu.
I think Wu's gonna have a major role in another one of these shows.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you think I read this online. Samuel Jackson's getting up there. Do you think Wu's like the new Nick Fury, kind of?
No, I don't think so.
I would be disappointed in that. He doesn't feel like a Nick Fury character.
And for what agency? I just don't know.
It would be for SWORD, I assume.
Well, no, because he
works for the FBI.
I think he's kind of out of.
For the FBI, okay.
Yeah. So, I don't necessarily think that that's going to happen, but I think he might play a more pivotal role. I think he might be like maybe a Nick Fury type for whatever new Avengers or Young Avengers we kind of get.
Yeah.
You know, something.
And
like
Young
that.
Avengers is certainly a possibility with the Billy and Tommy characters, Kamala Khan coming in. I think that's a pretty good idea to believe.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
He would match up nicely with the tone of a Young Avengers. You know.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
I could see that.
Monica Rambeau. So
she's gonna be in the Skrull show. I think she'll be in Secret Invasion.
She's gonna either be in Secret Invasion or she is like the second most important character in Captain Marvel 2.
I think she's gonna be in both, but
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
She might even make an appearance in Miss Marvel, which is done filming, or they started filming. I think one of the two. They've already.
I'm not sure.
I believe he said they're done filming that already, or at the very least they've started. I can't remember, but they're in some. They're in production.
You know what? I think they're making that show. So
somewhere between conceptualizing it and fully edited, coming out next week,
and it being on Disney Plus. It's somewhere in there. Actually, you know what? It's somewhere between full conceptualization and I have already seen it. You know, it's in there. It's in there somewhere. All right, let's get to the end. It's the big stuff to talk about. It's the big to do. It's the big, whatever.
So
I fucking cried. So let's just get that out of the way. I
was
cried.
very close. It tugs on your heartstrings.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a really, like, the ending of the finale was a really good ending to WandaVision. The whole finale we talked about maybe could have been a little better in terms of ending off the show,
right.
But I think the actual ending of it was fantastic, and the way that they handled Wanda, like, accepting her loss and, like, knowing that she can move forward. Yes. I love the way Vision is involved in that. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. He's like, we'll see each other again thing was like...
Yeah, it stands to reason that we'll say hello again. Oh,
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I love the ending.
Yeah, that's where
the scene
I cried,
where they,
by the way. At that scene, that was...
The scene where they're putting the kids to bed is also super sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're not gonna tell the they're not gonna be like, you guys are about to die.
Speaking as a parent, Alan, I'd love your input on this as well. That fucking hit, dude.
Kid shit in movies, now that I have kids, is absolutely the hardest stuff to watch. Yes. When bad things happen to people's kids or anything like that, it is honestly, it kills me every time. It's actually become difficult now.
Oh yeah,
to
I
see
agree.
Things. I'm having trouble talking about it. So.
Watching her put the kids to bed and then knowing what was happening and then like watching the hex coming, I was like, I bawled. I was like, I'm out. Yeah. I'm out again. Fucking A. Damn it, Marvel.
You checked on your son.
Yeah, I did. I literally pulled up his baby monitor. I'm like, all right, I don't see any hex coming.
There's no
so like, I guess we're all right, you know. But I'm like, is he real? I got a little concerned.
Am I just imagining it?
They stuck the landing there. The best part about the show, we'll discuss this more in the post-mortem, really, but like, they got Wanda and they got Vision, and I mean, fuck yeah, dude! Like that relationship, just they stuck the landing on it. They did.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The relationship between them, and weirdly enough, and I never expected this to be the case because first off, when the show was first being talked about, I didn't expect them to have kids. But also, like, when the kids were first introduced, I'm like, I'm not going to give a fuck about these kids.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
And then they're aging them up, and I'm like, okay, so they're like just demon characters or whatever. Like, I'm really not going to care about these kids. And like, we've been saying for a long time, there's no way these kids are making it out of this fucking show. So like, I didn't expect the dynamic. I didn't expect to care about these kids. Like,
I didn't expect to.
By the end, I cared about the kids.
I didn't expect the performances to be as good either. Like, they found they found kid actors I actually cared about. You know?
Yeah.
That's
because they're sticking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
That's the next scene we've got to talk about is the kids. I feel like the next couple of scenes at least, because that's like the second post-credit scene. So I guess now, unless someone else wants to talk about the main ending before the post-credit scene.
Real quick, to the point of everything being sad, I do think this is one of those things that is incredibly sad when you watch it now in real time. And in the future, when they bring back Vision as White Vision and they bring back the kids, it's going to be like, oh, that was sad when it happened, but now I remember that everything kind of turned out okay. That's gonna be one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, comic book deaths don't mean anything.
Except for the one that matters.
Yeah,
I miss Tony Stark.
There are deaths that I want to stick around.
Yeah,
and then there are deaths that happen to advance a character, and so like I'm fine with these.
I don't mind.
I'm not fine. I don't know how I feel. I will get there. My opinion is not solidified on whether or not Vision coming back it makes me happy.
Vision shouldn't come back.
But the kids coming back, more than pleased. Like, bring them back. Actually, like I actually
the kids
want
should
them
be back.
Yes, Vision.
Actually, yeah,
Vision,
I actually want a Young Avengers show.
Vision, I have hard times with. I don't know.
So I feel like there's a discussion to be had on what this new Vision is gonna be like. Is this Vision going to like? I feel like whether or not Vision coming back is a good thing comes down to does it take away from Wanda's like acceptance, which I feel like it could take away from it if she just gets Vision back. And I feel like they might play it as this Vision doesn't love Wanda.
Yeah, so if this Vision
which is a strong possibility. If
this Vision is a different Vision, like mentally, like has a totally different personality, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm like my Vision, you know, fucking died, and you know, I'm fine with that, you know. But if they had a good arc, they have to play it right, and we'll see. I have. It's so weird to me because despite how I feel about weird, this is gonna sound like a weird off track, right? Despite how I feel about The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, which are two movies I love, and I actually really like Solo. Despite really liking those three movies, I have no faith in Disney's Star Wars, right? But I have all of the faith in Disney's Marvel. So like, I have just whatever you guys want. I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah, they really haven't screwed anything up in like a really long time.
Yeah.
Inhumans being probably the biggest screw up in recent-ish memory, and that's not recent. Really.
That even really count as MCU though?
It was supposed to be.
Yeah, but I don't think it was produced by like
was it a
MCU TV, was it? Like I don't think it I don't know. I could be talking on my ass. I don't remember. All right, is there anything else in the finale we want to talk about before we move on to like the series as a whole?
Do we want to hit those post-credit
We wanted to
things?
talk about the post-credit scenes.
Oh yeah, post-credit scenes, but also can we talk about the town interaction to Wanda?
Yeah, that was also right at the end.
I mean, you asked us if there was anything else to talk about.
Yeah, no, I forgot. I literally forgot that I wanted to talk about that. So those are some interesting scenes. Those are actually some of my favorite scenes, but also kind of infuriating. I was a little bit infuriated at the same time because
Monica Rambeau's line's stupid. In my opinion.
I can't remember what it was.
It was just her saying like, "Oh, they'll never know what you
sacrificed,"
sacrificed," and it's like, she stole their lives.
That's dumb. Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah,
it's weird. So it's what I think is weird is the first scene. But so Ben and I had talked about this briefly, where I thought it was originally kind of strange how in that first scene they seem very sympathetic. And right, they seem like, oh Wanda, we get it, but we just can you just give me my daughter back, right? Like, and I thought that was really strange. I thought that was really strange, right? And then I watched it again, and I'm like, they're fucking terrified. Like they are just begging for anything. They're like, Wanda, we get it. Like so my original reaction was not fair, and so when I said that I was so frustrated, it was because that first watch, I'm like, that's stupid. Why would they just suddenly turn like that? They never turned. They were terrified. Like
they were just begging for like, please let my daughter out. Which, by the way, I'm happy they gave Emma Caulfield something really good to do there because I thought that was really well done. Could be just because I'm a big Buffy, shill, but I thought I thought she was great in that one scene that she was allowed to have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, but I did like that. I mean, it really showed A, Wanda's power, but B, the fear from the situation, like how impactful of a situation this is. Because I think Marvel does that a lot. They show the collateral damage pretty well.
Yeah. I like that they didn't shy away from Wanda making mistakes. I didn't think that they were going to, but I mean, that was a pretty big one, and it was really kind of like her fault. Like she didn't they didn't go, oh, Agatha was the one who was making it really shitty. Like no, it's just Wanda didn't really have a full grasp of how her powers worked. Like Yeah.
Right. All right. Post-credit scenes.
Yes. First one was Skrulls.
Yes.
I really thought it was gonna be Mystique.
I thought it
For
was
a
Mystique
second-
as well.
For a second,
just
I was
a
like, it's not. It's
So
not
I was
him,
left
guys.
in. So like watching that scene, I was very frustrated because I already don't love like the Skrulls. I don't love them. I don't hate them, but I don't love the Skrulls. And then when I saw a face change, when I've been expecting X-Men for so long, I was like, oh my god, it's Mystique, and then it was a Skrull, and I was like, fuck. But now I'm with it. It makes sense. I've taken time to be like, okay, WandaVision wasn't gonna have X-Men, and maybe it did. We don't know about Evan Peters, but
Ben was still expecting her to walk in there and like someone's floating some theater chairs.
I was still holding hope for Magneto in that post credit scene. I was still holding hope for it.
I really like Ben Mendelsohn's Talos. So like I'm down for Skrulls because give me more of Ben Mendelsohn's Talos and I'm in. So like that's
the surprisingly best part of that movie.
I loved it. I watched Captain Marvel last week just to watch Ben Mendelsohn's Talos. I love him in that movie. I really do. So, but okay. So Alan, do you have anything to add to that post-credit scene?
No, I guess
a little underwhelming because I wanted some Fantastic Four or X-Men stuff, but like
I wanted some X-Men stuff, or really, I was still at that point expecting that we'd see somebody from our upcoming. I mean, I guess I'm not super hyped for Secret Invasion. I'm like, I think it could be good, but I'm not like super hyped for it. I was really hoping for a tease for our Doctor Strange that I'm kind of excited to see, which I guess the next thing is probably going to be more in line with that. I really thought we were going to get a Kamala Khan or something like that. I think that at that point in the episode, I was already kind of on like that last bit was really good, but I was still kind of like, oh, where are we going to get our... there was a lot that I was hoping for that didn't ever come fully to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's weird. I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed in that one scene. In that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it's just a one little post-credit scene, right? But like why did I have it in my mind that Reed Richards was going to show up? Like I really was just like, I
never thought we were going to get Reed Richards just because I still don't think that they're near casting Fantastic Four. Well, they're probably starting casting, but they haven't casted them yet.
I think they probably casted it, and he's in WandaVision. We just don't know.
He's in the background.
He's in the background of WandaVision. Yeah, they're gonna do like a I don't remember what Marvel movie that was, but they're gonna do something where like it might not even. I don't even know if I'm thinking of a Marvel movie, but they're gonna do something where like in the beginning of Fantastic Four, they're gonna show a clip from WandaVision where he was just there the whole time or something. That's a joke. That'd be terrible. It's not gonna happen. But
don't do it, Marvel.
That second post-credit scene, bigger one. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we saw some stuff with it invoked Doctor Strange a little bit in terms of the imagery, but it also invoked Wanda being a villain a little bit. She was reading the what was it called? The Dark Keeper, the Dark Book. She was reading the evil stuff, learning the evil stuff, and also using an astral projection, which was interesting.
Oh no, that was Doctor Strange energy.
Yeah. And they also mentioned.
I don't like what you're doing,
earlier. They also mentioned earlier, I think, in the finale that the Scarlet Witch holds more power than the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah,
so I think this is all pointing to Wanda being what we thought she wasn't going to be. the villain of Multiverse of Madness.
I said I thought she would be the antagonistic character in that show. I'm gonna point
I actually still don't think she's gonna be the villain of.
You don't think so?
No.
I think she might be one of the. I think she will be one of the villains. I think she will be in that movie and be causing problems. I don't know to the extent of which. I do think that there will be a bigger bad in that movie than her.
I think you're kind of right. I think in my opinion, it's probably a Civil War situation where it's gonna boil down to those two against each other, but there is a Zemo.
Yeah.
Not literally Zemo, but you know that type
literally Zemo. Actually,
well, Zemo's gonna be in the
Helmut Zemo.
in the Captain Bucky show, which is I'm still calling it Captain Bucky. I'm not calling it Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's Captain America.
No, he's not, because at the end of it, he's going to be Captain America, I think.
You're probably right.
So, yeah, that I don't think she's going to be the villain, by the way. Like, I think Alan's right. I think she'll be antagonistic, right? Like, I think, especially given what we know about Stephen Strange's ego, I don't think he's going to like that she's more powerful than him. There's going to be definitely some discussion there. So
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm that movie's becoming like one of my most excited movies. Like, I'm very, very, very hype about that movie. So I guess let's discuss. So, all right, final thoughts on the finale.
I liked it. I felt like there were some things that it could have done I think the finale is like our scapegoat for the finale didn't show us the things that we expected the show to do, but the show wasn't going to do those things. And I felt like it was a good finale for what the show was, but with some problems such as the one-dimensional villain in Agatha, as well as the relatively boring fight between the two of them with bad or I guess uninspired CGI. We didn't talk about that much, but it's a little. They've done more interesting things with magic in Doctor Strange types of scenarios, so I expect we'll see more interesting stuff out of that.
I was so sick of the freaking like red ball. Now a red ball.
At least the red balls in the end were her placing the runes. At least that was
that was cool.
Here we go, red ball. We got more red balls.
Oh, I got a purple ball for you. Okay, Ben, the only thing I'm going to push back on yours is I think that I would reverse the order of which you said, because I would say that it was a good finale, but not for the show that we got. So that's why I ended up disappointed. And I don't know that we're so far off in terms of our beliefs, because we both share similar thoughts about the show. It might be just a difference in how we describe, how we feel about the show. Yeah. I think it was a good finale for a different show, but this show had something different. It had a different energy, and I really wanted something that fit that more. The final parts of the show certainly do keep that finale to being, I would certainly say, still a great episode. It just, to me, felt out of place, and that's why it's tougher. It's certainly not like and I'm not going to spoil these shows, but it's certainly not like a Game of Thrones where the finale makes me not want to watch the show again. In fact, my wife and I my wife's never seen it, so I'm watching the show with her now, and I'm loving going through it again.
Right.
Even though, some of the fun of being able to speculate is gone. It's still cool to see again, because there was a lot of really fun stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So for me, I do agree. I think it didn't ruin anything. I don't have much to add. Just for me, I didn't want a big CGI dumb fight. And granted, we didn't just get dumb fight, but we got a lot of dumb fight.
We also got Ship of Theseus, though.
Was pretty cool.
I'm always going to be grateful for Ship of Theseus. I am a big Ship of Theseus fan. There's also a really great tweet where it's dry bones. It's like what was it? It was like a Koopa and a Koopa with bones. It was just like a bones Koopa.
Dry
and
bones. Dry bones.
dry bones, yeah, dry bones. And they're just talking to each other on on Twitter. I just saw that the great tweet. And it was like, "Have you heard about the ship of Theseus?" I just thought that was great. So, all right, moving on to the show as a whole. What do you guys think?
I'm sorry.
I love the show. I think it's awesome. It's the kind of show that it makes. I think it was like a fantastic pilot show for MCU Disney Plus shows, because it, like, I really didn't know what to expect coming into these shows, and I feel like there's a world where they disappoint me from now on, with like if they go in a like more predictable direction than what WandaVision went in, because WandaVision made these shows seem like an opportunity for the MCU to really mess around and do super interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And WandaVision was awesome at that. I mean, the first few episodes being what they were was just really cool in terms of the MCU, and we'd never seen anything like that in the MCU. And I think that they turned it into a really good way of developing some of their more important characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan of the show. It blew my expectations out of the water. This was one of the ones I was less interested in because it had characters that I wasn't as into as some of the other shows. I just wasn't as into them.
Of course.
I was excited for WandaVision because I did like Vision quite a bit, and now after this show, I'm a huge fan of Wanda. I think she was really developed in this show into a super interesting character, and she was already pretty developed through like Age of Ultron, and
she never had the lens square on her.
Exactly.
She always had a lot of
exactly.
great moments that you could tell she would have killed it with her own movie, and now she had her own show, which I think
agreed.
They always gave us a little bit of like nuggets and like little tidbits, and I'm glad that they were able to flesh those out really well.
So for me, the show as a whole, I equate a lot to how you guys remember when Ant-Man came out, and the thought process that we had around Marvel was, Marvel is doing like they can make all kinds of different things now, because Ant-Man was their heist movie, and they had Civil War, which like they had their own like different like, oh, now we're tackling different genres. Right. They kind of got away from that, and everything kind of started to feel samey. This felt like that again, where it was like, okay,
agreed,
this is a sitcom. Like it's a dark sitcom in certain moments, but and towards the end of this, it did become, like I said, a little bit more of our Marvel movie stuff. But I mean, for most of it, it was like a lot of it felt like a sitcom. Even the episodes toward the end were still, that Malcolm in the Middle episode was still a sitcom. Like it had, its other moments, and its dark, parts of it. But I thought this was, I think this is something I could see myself watching a bunch of times, even though I'm not hooked on the finale. The finale was still good enough that I would. It's not an episode I'd skip by any means.
It's
love
not
the
bad.
show.
I want to say that like we talked about how it was a disappointment. It wasn't bad. I didn't dislike it. It's not like, again, it's not to compare it to Game of Thrones. It's not Game of Thrones finale bad. It's just like not what I expected.
It was a good finale and an excellent show.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like I was watching a season 5 episode of Arrow where I don't want to watch the show anymore. Like it's like, no, it's just it didn't meet up to the expectations I had, and I don't think it met up to the quality of the rest of the show. But it doesn't make it bad. It just ended up falling in line with the rest of Marvel, which is good. It's just not great. But what is?
But the rest of it.
What is disappointment without love, other than love persevering? So I think it's a good way to cap off WandaVision right there. I'm sure we'll revisit it. Actually, I would love to do another episode, maybe when these main 3 or 4 MCU shows are done. Like I think they're gonna do like a batch of these MCU shows then take a couple months off? Or do you not think so? Do you think we're just going to get MCU shows for the rest of time?
I think the logical play is what you described, which is a bunch of shows, and then we get a break. But I don't know if they've got the restraint, and I don't know if I have the restraint to not keep watching them. So,
I've been hearing so many rumored and confirmed shows that I don't know where the break point is at this point.
Well,
there's so many.
The break point is talking about. The break point is time to make them.
Yeah, but it sounds like there's so many of them that are just happening and being made right now.
Yeah,
it feels like they have infinite resources, which isn't true. But it feels
all the shows that are being made right now. I can't.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I can't wrap my head around.
I know them, but I can't name them. I couldn't pull all of them from my head. I know I'd miss 5, which is 100%.
Yeah.
So it's.
And also eventually we are getting Young Avengers. I know that they haven't announced that, but I'm guaranteeing it at this point.
Guaranteed.
Tommy, Billy, Kamala Khan. And I'm saying Miles Morales, who's going to show up in Spider-Man. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh my god!
Isn't Tom Holland Spider-Man just going to be? I feel like they've been setting him up to continue.
No, well, he's going to continue. I just think they're going to do I think they're going to have both Spider-Men.
Okay. He's not going to be a part of the young. He's not going to be a part of.
No, I wouldn't. No, because he's already getting old enough that I think that it's. Think about how old Billy and Tommy are. I just don't think.
I think
we do know right we know that there's a Riri Williams show, Ironheart show coming out, right? That's something.
Yeah, that's happening. Oh yeah,
she's got to be Young Avengers.
She'll be in it too.
Yeah.
So
Squirrel Girl, we're gonna get a Squirrel Girl show. You know what's gonna happen?
Jesus, actually, we have too many characters probably coming for our Young Avengers show.
Yeah.
Damn.
Cool. So we touched upon this briefly before. WandaVision season 2.
Yes.
Alan said yes.
I would almost guarantee it.
Maybe.
I don't think so. I think these stories are gonna. I think the storyline's gonna continue on. I think Wanda might get her own movie eventually. I don't. If they're gonna do it, I don't think it'll be called WandaVision. I think they'll just do maybe a Wanda series or a Vision series. I don't think it's a WandaVision season 2.
Put on your capitalism glasses. They're going with WandaVision season 2. This thing has made.
I have to remove my non-capitalism glasses.
This has made Disney so much money, and people love this show.
You're right,
and they're not going to call it something else.
That aspect is I don't know.
They didn't deconfirm it. This was supposed to be the finale regardless. That was going to happen.
Series finale.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the series finale.
So
but Feige was asked if they're going to do another season. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless Disney became British.
Money.
Unless Disney has become British now and they're just calling season series. I don't know. This is a series finale. So
they'll call it a reunion. They'll make the next episode called the reunion or something.
Episode. I actually want that.
Damn
now.
it, motherfucker!
I want
why are they
two because I want the first
gonna
episode to be called reunion episode.
It's gonna be called guys. It's gonna be called something dumb like fucking WandaVision Miami or like.
I just think there's no way. They'd have to call it. I don't think that they would ever call it something else because.
Yeah, you're right. So actually, we can talk about this briefly. So Disney Plus just crossed the 100 million subscriber mark.
Get ready for those prices to jump up.
Which they didn't think was going to happen for another 3 years. So I guess the pandemic helped Disney in one way.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, those numbers. But between The Mandalorian and WandaVision, I guess. Come on. Cool. Anything else we'd like to add about WandaVision?
If you haven't seen it, I don't know why you watched this whole thing, but definitely go check it out.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
I will add that. Sorry, Ben, I totally just cut you off. I'm an asshole and a terrible host.
All I was gonna say was just if you're in the chat and you decided I don't need to watch the show, I'm gonna hear the spoilers and hang out for the podcast. We love you. Stick around for the rest of the podcast, then watch the show. You're still gonna love it, even though you've had everything spoiled because it's great.
Post Endgame, I had almost no interest in the MCU. Like, I was like, I don't care. I will watch Black Widow, and I don't really care, you know? Like,
Man,
Yeah.
I still really don't care about Black Widow.
no. I don't really care about Black Widow. I was gonna watch Black Widow. I'm gonna go. I really like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I was excited to see where that next Spider-Man movie was gonna go. That was about it.
Yeah, same.
Nope. Done. I'm back in. You guys hooked me
Now I'm back
again.
in.
I'm
They got
all
me.
MCU, baby. I've rewatched like 3 MCU movies since WandaVision came out. They know what they're doing. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
my,
good.
my friends are rewatching every movie in the MCU, and I guarantee you it was partially inspired by watching WandaVision. And like I was talking to them about it, and I was like, I want to come over and watch this one and this one and this one, and like I'm all back in, and
Yeah.
like I'm super excited for what's to come. So I mean, they did it. They got my money.
Yeah.
You did it. You did it, Disney.
You
Are
did
you
it,
happy?
Disney. So, again, WandaVision, definitely check it out. Definitely worth the watch. I'm sure we will talk about it again on this podcast. Chat, hi, how are you?
Hi, Chat.
I'm talking to you, Chat. Now, get your Q&A questions in now.
Yes.
We're gonna be answering your questions in this next segment of the podcast.
Can we get the Patreon ones
can
up?
we
I can't
get-
seem to find that. Oh, not the
let's-
Patreon. I'm sorry.
Let's see if we can get our super chats back up, because I think I heard a decent amount of them coming in.
Yeah, we got a couple.
Some of them weren't questions, but
Yeah.
All right, see if I can get it.
So we can take our time here. This is more of a live reaction, a live show now rather than the recorded
Yes.
RAZZLEcast. So
We've been able to see all of your chats the whole time. We just wanted to really get a show done. But
So-
this is the section where we're going to talk to you guys and answer your questions.
Mr.
We're also going to look
Avocado
at
Toast, is Doki Doki going to be continuing? Yes, and more Doki Doki on the way. Maybe 2 more episodes, and then the series will be over.
but
Because the game will be over, not because you finished the game, not because he
No.
stopped partway.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. For those of you that want to
find
know, the RAZZLEcast can be found on YouTube, where you're watching it right now. But it can also be found on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. The Apple Podcast and Spotify version will be uploaded later, and we'll have the Q&A section cut out. So this is we're just doing a live show. You guys get your calls in, get your questions in, do whatever you need.
we got a question. Send questions here or on Discord, Patreon.
Any
So
of
here
the
in
above.
Discord and Patreon, we're keeping an eye on all of it.
Oh, never mind. I thought it was just here. That shows how good
but
I am at this.
Here is where we will see it the quickest, because we've got it going. It's a live stream where we're reading chat, and if you guys would like to keep in mind, we've got here on YouTube, we've got super chats and we've got channel memberships. If you join the channel, you get emotes, you get a badge next to your name. We can and with super chats, we'll guarantee a response during this Q&A section.
Do you guys have access to the super chats? I can't seem to get access to the super chats.
I'm not sure.
I'm looking for them right now.
Yeah. I can scroll up and find a couple of them. Early on in the stream, we got one from John Miller that says, donating for all the great We Get Drunk and Watch content. Keep it coming.
Thanks,
We'd
John.
love to hear that. If you're still here, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And we will absolutely keep doing the We Get Drunk and Watch content.
Absolutely.
It's our bread and butter, and we love making it. So we are going to continue making that stuff.
Yeah, most certainly.
And then we
heard-
got a massive $20 super chat from Anthony Jacobs, who is also a channel member. The super chat just says salami, but we could not appreciate that more. We love
we love some salami. So.
we love us some salami. I just had
I don't know if that was
had
in reference to
canned
something we were
salami
saying or just.
It didn't seem like it, but I wasn't sure.
We can talk about salami real quick. I think salami is really good. I didn't
I had a sub tonight with ham, salami, and bacon.
Subs with salamis are great. No lies there. Cat Pirate, can we expect more frequent drunk / group movie review or commentaries in the future? Yes.
Yeah. We try to aim for like ideally we'd aim for one a week, but they are a lot of work to make, so we can't guarantee
especially
anything
on Ryan's end.
Yeah. Ryan is the guy who edits on those, and we love what he does, and we want him to take his time with it. So there's only so frequently we can get him out, but we're pretty much when one goes up, we're immediately working on the next one, as far as that goes. So that's our bread and butter, like I said, and we love that you guys love that. So yeah.
Yeah.
We got salamis in the chat. You love to see it.
Salamis in the chat.
Those are the only two super chats I see when I scroll up. It seemed like there were more, but I don't see them in our chat. Maybe
some of them didn't have anything attached to them, so I don't think they show up in the chat.
Okay.
Interesting.
Let's see. Go over to the.
Okay, 2 questions from Western Telecom. So I'm gonna hit those real quick. First, favorite deli meat, roast beef for me.
Actually, turkey for me.
First favorite. Mine is definitely. I think my go-to is ham, but my favorite would be salami. I like salami better than ham, but I can't like I'd rather have a ham and cheese sandwich than a salami and cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
And then their second question in that same thing was also having watched WandaVision, what Marvel movies are your favorites? Do you have a newfound appreciation for any of them?
So we have a whole podcast on Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Highly recommend checking it out. Ben is frozen, by the way. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Totally frozen for me. Is he frozen for you, Alan?
Yeah, he's frozen for me too, and it looks like he's frozen on the screen there. So I'm sure we'll get him back in a little bit.
We'll get our Benny boy back here shortly. We have a whole podcast episode on the MCU. Check that out. My favorite Marvel movies are almost constantly shifting. I really love Infinity War. I really love wow, can't even think. Guardians Volume 2.
So you like Guardians 2?
Yeah, there are a lot of really good ones. So.
Okay, yeah, mine is probably Endgame. I just think that was such a perfect culmination to everything that they've done so far. I know that that's not. I know that I often get in arguments with people about Infinity War versus Endgame, and I can totally see both points. They've made a bunch of great movies, but Endgame always feels like the one to me that it's a lot of the stuff that I always wanted to see. So,
yeah, I agree.
We lost Ben. Hopefully
wow.
he'll be coming back in.
We lost Ben, and the cameras are now totally screwed up.
I'm sure they are.
Oof.
So we'll have to get that fixed.
All right.
Stand by. Yeah, Ben lost connection, I'm sure. Oh, no.
Yeah, we're totally screwed up now. Let's just
okay,
go.
well, while you work on that, I'll see if I can see some other questions here, because it's not like they need to see my face. Black Widow movie has not come out yet, so nobody has seen it. But I don't know. I'm excited for Florence Pugh because I think she'll be the new Black Widow. But yeah, other than that, I don't know that I care too much about the movie. I don't care much about movies that take place in the past, Spicy Chicken Sandwich said, you know what, I want a Valkyrie show. I'd be down for a Valkyrie show. I don't know that it's like at the top of my list, but I could watch a Valkyrie show. Deadpool series that's either animation or live action with Ryan Reynolds. I think we're going to get more Deadpool movies, so I don't know that I need a series with definitely. Deadpool. I also just don't think Ryan Reynolds is going to do a Disney Plus series. I just don't see it. I think he'd probably just stick with doing the movies. If we were gonna get a series, it'd probably be X-Force. If it was gonna be a series, but I know they're putting a lot into these, but I don't think you get Ryan Reynolds for a Disney Plus series.
Oh my gosh, I'm not physically prepared for this. For Ben leaving.
Oh, hey, we're getting him back.
We're getting a Ben back.
Thank God, our screen got all messed up from you leaving.
Yeah. Okay. Very sorry about that. Everything I just immediately lost the internet.
Oh yeah, no problem, man.
I don't know how long ago it cut me off. I went on talking without you guys responding for like maybe a hot minute.
My man was
so
just,
I don't know if you guys.
My man was just talking about deli meats for a minute.
No, I moved on to the next question after that.
Okay.
Like because I felt like you guys didn't respond at all to what I was saying about salami, so I was like, okay, we're good to move on.
We got a few comments that just popped in towards the end here.
Okay. Let me reload the stream so I can keep seeing chat.
We can get some. There's some Marvel ones in here. Might not be a bad thing to talk about with everything. Nikki, I'm gonna say Ganasa. I really hope that's right. If not, I am so sorry. Any thoughts on Wanda's boys being alive? Excited to see how that's going to work into the Doctor Strange movie. Also, just subscribed recently and love your content. Well, we really appreciate your subscription and support. That's super awesome. Wanda's boys being alive. We did talk about that a little bit. I think I don't know that we really covered it a whole bunch. I think that I mean, it's a big multiverse.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we know Wanda's in the multiverse of madness, so that's probably our segue to them, and that's probably where our Doctor Strange story is going to pick up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Last chance to get any questions in.
Did we answer the question about our favorite Marvel movie?
We did.
Yeah, we did, but I don't know.
Okay.
You want to just hit yours real quick?
Yeah. I would say my favorite Marvel movie. It's hard to answer. But I would say probably would be Infinity War or Endgame. But I did want to shout out Iron Man 3 as the most underrated MCU movie.
Iron Man 3 is good.
So yeah.
I remember not liking it when I first watched it, and then when we went back and did our rewatch, there was a lot that I found more appreciation for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Definitely.
Black Panther is also one that I think I don't realize is as good. I think it got screwed by the fact that it got a little bit too much Oscar hype, but it's still a really solid movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Someone asked if we think Galactus will show up in an Avengers movie, or was Endgame it? Galactus. Wait, so I don't know, because the way they said, do you think Galactus will show up in one last Avengers movie, or was Endgame in it? They might be talking about Thanos.
They're doing.
But I'm going to take it as Galactus.
No, they're talking about Galactus. They're saying, are we going to get another Avengers movie, and also will it have Galactus in it? We are definitely getting more Avengers movies. Endgame is not the last Avengers movie.
Yeah, they're not going to kill the Avengers franchise.
I don't know. Galactus seems almost too big, but I think they could do it right.
Fantastic Four is the logical villain because I think that show is going to get pretty zany and pretty fun. But I don't know that they want to tackle it with Fantastic Four because of how they have already
I just think
they didn't, but they tackled
I just think they
Galactus.
won't make Galactus a fucking space cloud, you know? Like,
yeah. Well, he's not, so they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Galactus will happen only because my wife and I were talking about this the other day. I don't think the MCU is gonna end, which means logically it's coming. Because I don't think it's gonna. I don't think they're gonna. I think that they're gonna just keep doing it. So eventually, he's got to be there. He's one of their biggest villains.
You think
I suppose
the MCU will
eventually
continue on forever.
As long as the human race exists.
No, I mean it the same way that I don't think that they're not going to reboot Star Wars. I don't think they're going to reboot the MCU. It's just going to continue until people stop being interested, which who knows, you know.
Do you think they reboot? Do you think they do soft reboots or like?
Well, they got the multiverse,
recasts,
so kinda.
Or like, do you think they recast like Bond kind of thing where they like eventually will bring in a new Steve Rogers, or do you think they just do what they do now and they're gonna just have new Captain Americas, or like what?
I think they probably have a new Captain America. I mean, it's weird
I
to say
agree.
because I think they're gonna try to like soft canon stuff. They might do soft reboots where it's like, oh, the multiverse happened, and now who knows who could show up, and it's like, oh, there's a new Steve Rogers, and that might be what they do because eventually they're gonna run out of characters that are common enough. Like, it will be harder for them to be like, oh, this.
Yeah.
Like, are they really gonna not want to have an Iron Man for the rest of ever? But they just added. I mean, they're gonna have Ironheart, so
Yeah.
maybe that character will take off.
Are you telling me we're not gonna get any more Gwyneth Paltrow's rescue?
I feel like we'll see her.
Is she gonna be
I
in
think
that
she'll be in
show with Don
Ironheart.
Cheadle? Yeah,
Because
I didn't think she'd be in Ironheart. I thought she'd be in the other Iron show with Don Cheadle. What is that? Armor Wars.
Armor Wars.
Armor
Wars.
Don't.
That's happening? I didn't know that was happening.
I don't care at all about rescue. I don't want.
Mhm.
I don't care about Pepper. Am I the only one in the world who doesn't care about Pepper Potts?
I like
don't care
Pepper.
about
I feel
Pepper
like-
Potts.
In terms of love interest, she was pretty solid.
I don't care about Pepper
Yeah,
Potts
I
at
think
all.
she was a solid character, but I think they kind of wrapped her up.
Chat,
Like,
do you
I
care about
actually
Pepper
liked
Potts,
more.
chat? What do you guys... How does the chat feel about Pepper Potts?
Someone did ask if we have specific favorite characters in MCU. Who's everyone's favorite Marvel MCU hero?
I mean, I love Captain America, but I can't really pick. Like, I just have a hard time. I love Tom Holland's Spider-Man so much.
Mhm.
Thor surprisingly has become one of my favorites. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I did a whole video about what the Hulk as a character means to me, and I really think that Mark Ruffalo has nailed that character. So I probably would say him, even though if I was saying the best character the MCU has ever done, I would say Tony Stark, and
Tony Stark.
and Cap a very close second. Like, any
agreed.
day you could switch between the two.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone could top those two characters in terms of how well they were portrayed and how much they probably are defining I am not reading the comics, but I'm sure that they've pretty much the characters are getting written around them the same way that Superman was written around Christopher Reeve. So
Yeah. Iron Man is my favorite superhero because of his portrayal in the MCU. So I'm a big Iron Man fan.
I think Ryan's agreeing he doesn't care about Pepper Potts, by the way.
Yeah, there was a lot of don't
Yeah.
care about Pepper.
No one.
Don't like Pepper. Pepper was a good character, but don't like Gwyneth Paltrow.
Pepper sucks.
Paul Rudd and Ant-Man. It gets a shout.
Love
I like Paul
Ant-Man.
Rudd's Ant-Man.
He's great. I
Yeah,
just think he's written slightly inconsistently.
Agreed.
I agree.
Is he
yeah.
dumb or is he smart? And I
Yeah.
actually don't know the answer.
He's smart.
Well, yeah,
He should be written smart. Yeah, they write him dumb too much.
Rocket's another one of my favorite characters.
Rocket's great.
I like Rocket.
I love a lot of. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not really too many characters I don't like. Yeah,
Honestly,
I find myself getting.
Wanda's one of my favorite characters
Wanda's
now.
great.
I find
Vision's great.
myself. I find myself getting incredibly sad, and sad that we lost such a great actor in general. But I find myself
Yes.
also just getting incredibly sad that we're not going to see Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther again.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because I think he was so well acted,
So
so
good.
well written. I forget that he's actually he's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
And it is sad. I mean, more sad that we lost such a great, from what I understand, a great person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also a great actor and a great character. So
That death, man.
that's why that was hard.
Chadwick
the fact that
Boseman's
he
death is
acted-
hard. Yeah.
He acted in so many things while he was like struggling and knew that kind of thing was coming,
Yeah.
and
very sad.
that's super admirable. And that death hit hard.
Yeah, I'm super. That was I mean, so shocking. Because he just didn't want to tell anyone, and he didn't want to tell the public. I mean, people knew obviously, but and more power to him. I don't think it's anyone's business, And
Yeah,
so
agreed.
Man, it hit really hard. It's weird when an actor dies because depending on who it is, I didn't realize how much of an impact they had on myself. I didn't realize Chadwick Boseman had that much of an impact on me, but when he died, I really felt it. And so,
Yeah.
I am sad about that. I'm sad that T'Challa isn't gonna have his stories continued, or
Yeah.
or whatever is
Yeah.
gonna happen with that. But what I think is interesting is T'Challa's so much better in. I like Black Panther as a movie. I just think
Mhm.
T'Challa is better not in Black Panther. Like
In Civil War,
he was
he's
so good in
fantastic.
Civil War.
I liked him in
Which is
Infinity War
which
as
is
well.
very much the same with Stephen Strange, where I did not care for the Doctor Strange movie, and he's so good in Infinity War. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I I find it so sad just thinking like about where we're going, because we know we're getting Black Panther 2, but we have no idea what's going to happen. I'm sure they have a plan for what they want to do. I really wish in some ways that we kept Michael B. Jordan's
Killmonger.
Killmonger alive, because I think that could have been an interesting story to tell, and another great actor that could have taken on the Black Panther character. It does feel, I don't know. I know it's been a while. I still feel disingenuous even talking about.
I agree. I don't think we need to have that discussion. Because
that Marvel's got their own internals that they can do that in, and
whatever they do, whatever they do, they do. You know,
yeah.
I don't. I'm
Agreed.
just sad that. Well, I'm just sad that Chadwick Boseman can't do more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched shit, what was it called? Ma Rainey's on Netflix the other day, and Chadwick Boseman's probably gonna win an Oscar this year. I mean, he was so good in that movie.
Yeah.
So, just incredible. Guys, is there anything else we want to talk about, or do we want to say so long?
I don't think we have any super chats left, and I know that there's more questions in here, but we can't hit everything. We appreciate you guys a ton. If you guys have any more questions, we have a Discord, which we are very active in, and we'll try to hit some of them via text form as much as possible. But I think that probably best to so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
Yeah. If we missed any super chats, we don't think we did. But if we missed any super chats, we apologize. We really appreciate the support. And if people want to ask those questions in Discord, you can do !Discord in chat.
Thanks,
Western Telecom, just hit it. Thank you. Hit that link and you can join our Discord. Thank you very much for hopping into the live podcast format. Let us know in the Discord if you liked the podcast live.
Absolutely.
It was definitely really fun.
I'm
for us,
sorry
so we hope you guys
had some technical
loved it.
difficulties, and I'm sure we'll get those kinks worked out. But I had a really good time. So
yeah.
All right,
awesome.
I think that covers it.
Well, before we say so long, do you guys have anything you'd like to plug here today, Alan?
My last video was what the Incredible Hulk means to me. No, my last video was Rugrats, regarding Rugrats 2021. I knew I did something more recently than that. That was just a fun video talking about the new Rugrats series. It's a short video, so definitely check that out if you've got 2 minutes of time and you want to support us a little bit more. The only other thing to say in the plug, as we're saying goodbye here, if you guys haven't hit that like button, it is the easiest, absolute most free way to support us. Super easy. Like button, and it makes everything. It helps get us out to other people. It
makes the world brighter, just a brighter.
Yeah.
So if you could do that, that is awesome.
Real quick? What is Alan's channel? He made it on this channel. RAZZLE.
RAZZLE is all of our channel.
In RAZZLE.
I did see someone did a super chat that asked. I saw it while we were going. They asked what RAZZLE means. RAZZLE was Zach, Ryan, and I were all starting this up, and we were trying to come up with a name. And I said RAZZLE, and because of Ryan, Alan, and Zach, RAZ, and they said, you know what, I don't hate it, and we just ran with it, and we've been using that since.
Yeah. Ben, anything you'd like to plug?
So, first off, you can follow me on Twitter at Let's Go Haggles. If we do, let me do socials in chat. You can find all of our Twitters at the link that Nightbot should post in a moment. yeah, follow me on Twitter at Let's Go Haggles, and I swear I have a video coming out soon. I'm getting there on it.
We're excited.
So yeah, keep an eye out for that on Razzle, of course.
Yes. Follow me on Twitter at I am Maurer. Follow Razzle on Twitter at Razzle Media. Check out our newest video in the We Get Drunk and Watch series. We Get Drunk and Watch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Please check that out. Also, I have a Let's Play series on Doki Doki Literature Club that is continuing. The next episode of that will be out within the week, so keep your eyes peeled. Thank you for watching today. I'm very excited for all of you to come back to our next stream. I'm very excited to have all of you be here, and I love all of you so very, very much. I guess that's it. So long.